Okay, picture this. It's the 1500s. Explorers are sailing around, looking for new places to plant a flag. The age of discovery is in full swing, and every European power wants a piece of the pie. Enter Barbados, discovered first by the Spanish, or maybe the Portuguese. History's a little fuzzy there. But one thing's for sure, it was a gem waiting to be claimed. Anyway, they find this island paradise, lush and beautiful. Imagine pristine beaches, dense tropical forests, and an abundance of natural resources. You'd think they'd be all about respecting the indigenous folks already living there, right? The Arawak people had been thriving on this island for centuries. Nope. The Arawak people who called Barbados home were either driven out or captured by these explorers. It wasn't pretty. The clash of cultures was brutal and devastating. The Europeans, they were all about claiming things, renaming things. They saw the land as theirs for the taking, disregarding the lives and cultures already there. Barbados, they called it, maybe after the bearded fig trees they found. These trees were unique and abundant, a symbol of the island's natural beauty. But here's the thing, the Europeans, they weren't big fans of manual labor, especially in the Caribbean heat. They needed a workforce to exploit. They needed someone to work the land, someone they could exploit. The lush fields of sugarcane and other crops required backbreaking labor. Enter stage left, the darkest chapter in Barbados's history, the transatlantic slave trade. Thousands of Africans were forcibly brought to the island, enduring unimaginable suffering. And that, my friends, is how paradise got paved over with the cobblestones of colonialism. The island's beauty was overshadowed by the horrors of exploitation and slavery. Stay tuned, folks, because it's about to get real. The story of Barbados is far from over, and the next chapter is just as compelling. So, the Spanish show up, don't do much, then bounce. They were more interested in other parts of the Caribbean and the Americas, leaving Barbados relatively untouched. That's when the Brits roll in, like a landlord who's a little too eager to renovate. They saw an opportunity to turn this island into a profitable venture. It's 1625, and they claim Barbados. The British were determined to make their mark and establish a stronghold in the Caribbean. Now, these Brits, they weren't here for the beaches. They were all about business, and that business was sugar. They quickly realized the island's potential for sugarcane cultivation. Sugar was the hot commodity back then, sweeter than gold, and Barbados had the perfect climate to grow it. The tropical environment was ideal for sugarcane, making it a lucrative crop. Problem was, growing sugar is hard work, and the Brits? Let's just say they weren't exactly volunteering for the job. They needed a large, cheap labor force to make their sugar dreams a reality. They needed a workforce, and they found it in the most horrific way possible: enslaved Africans. The transatlantic slave trade became the backbone of their sugar empire. The British established a system of plantations, vast estates dedicated to sugar production. These plantations were meticulously organized to maximize output and profits. These plantations were brutal places, fueled by the sweat and blood of enslaved people. The conditions were harsh, and the work was grueling, with little regard for human life. The sugar they produced made Britain wealthy, but it came at a terrible, inhumane cost. The profits from sugar fueled the British economy, but the human toll was devastating. Barbados became a model British colony, but that model was built on exploitation and suffering. The island's success was a direct result of the brutal system of slavery. And the legacy of this system? Well, it's a bitter taste that lingers to this day. The impact of this dark chapter in history is still felt in modern Barbados, a reminder of the island's complex past. Let's be clear, slavery wasn't just bad, it was an abomination, a stain on humanity. It was a system designed to dehumanize, to strip away dignity and freedom from millions of people. And in Barbados, it was the backbone of the economy. The island's wealth and prosperity were built on the backs of enslaved Africans, who had no choice but to endure unimaginable hardships. For centuries, enslaved Africans were brought to the island in chains, forced to toil in the fields under the scorching sun. They were treated as property, bought and sold like commodities. Life on a sugar plantation was brutal. The work was relentless, with long hours and little rest, and the overseers were merciless in their enforcement of labor. The work was backbreaking, the punishments were cruel, and the living conditions were deplorable. Enslaved people lived in cramped, unsanitary quarters with barely enough food to survive. Families were torn apart, their culture suppressed, their spirits crushed under the weight of oppression. Children were separated from parents, husbands from wives, in a deliberate attempt to break their will. But even in the face of unspeakable cruelty, the enslaved people of Barbados resisted. They found ways to defy their oppressors through acts of rebellion, both big and small. They held on to their traditions, passed down stories of their ancestors, and fought back against their oppressors in any way they could. Their resilience was a powerful form of resistance. The fight for abolition was a long and arduous one, but finally, in 1834, slavery was abolished in Barbados. This monumental change was the result of relentless efforts by both enslaved people and abolitionists. It was a victory hard won, a testament to the resilience and strength of the enslaved people who never gave up hope for freedom. Their legacy is a reminder of the enduring human spirit in the face of oppression. Section 4. Breaking Free, the Road to Independence. The end of slavery didn't magically erase the injustices of the past. Life after emancipation was still a struggle for many Barbadians. The plantation system lingered, economic opportunities were limited, and the social hierarchy remained largely unchanged. But the desire for self-determination burned brightly. Barbadians began to demand more control over their own affairs. They formed political parties, fought for workers' rights, and pushed for social and economic reforms. The road to independence was paved with the efforts of countless individuals who dared to dream of a better future. People like Sir Grantley Adams, a tireless advocate for social justice and the father of Barbados's independence movement. Finally, on November 30th, 1966, Barbados achieved its independence, raising its own flag for the first time. It was a moment of immense pride and celebration, a testament to the enduring spirit of the Barbadian people. Section 5. Beyond the Beaches, Modern Barbados. So, Barbados is independent, right? No longer taking orders from the Queen across the pond. But what does that really mean? Well, it means Barbados gets to write its own story, forge its own path in the world. And that story is still being written. Barbados today is a vibrant democracy, grappling with the challenges of a developing nation while embracing its unique culture and heritage. It's a place where you can find both pristine beaches and bustling cities, where the rhythm of calypso music blends with the hum of modern industry. Tourism is a major part of the economy now, with those beautiful beaches drawing visitors from all over the world. But Barbados is more than just a vacation destination. It's a nation with a rich history, a vibrant culture, and a bright future ahead. Section 6. More than just pretty beaches. Barbados today. Let's talk about Barbados today. Yes, the beaches are still gorgeous, the water is still crystal clear, but there's so much more to this island nation than just soaking up the sun. Barbados has a diverse economy with tourism playing a big role, but also industries like finance, technology, and renewable energy. Education is highly valued, and the literacy rate is one of the highest in the world. Not bad for a small island nation, eh? Culturally, Barbados is a melting pot. The legacy of its African, European, and indigenous roots is evident in its music, food, dance, and traditions. It's a place where you can experience the pulsating rhythms of crop over, a celebration of the sugar harvest, or enjoy a cricket match, the national sport. Section 7. Legacy of Resilience, Barbados on the World Stage. Barbados might be a small island, but it's got a big voice on the world stage. From advocating for climate change action to promoting sustainable development, Barbados is punching above its weight class. And let's not forget the talent that this little island has produced. Rihanna, anyone? From music to sports to academia, Barbadians are making their mark on the world. The story of Barbados is one of resilience, transformation, and hope. From the dark days of colonialism to the promise of a brighter future, Barbados has shown that even a small island can make a big difference. So, the next time you hear the name Barbados, remember, it's more than just a pretty beach. It's a nation with a story to tell, a culture to share, and a future to build.